Metro Iowa Control Board meeting to order at 10 a.m. Wednesday, March the 20th, 2019. I recognize that we do not have a quorum this morning. Mr. Cowley, any introductions this morning?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I do have one introduction. I am happy to introduce to the board a new county attorney. She will be working part-time with us, and that's Susan Ely. Very, very happy to have Susan on board and coming on at just the right time. So hopefully we will see the fruits of our labor here pretty quickly.
Any public recognitions?
No, sir.
Both the minutes of the public hearing and the regular board meeting held on February the 20th have been distributed for your review prior to the meeting. First, are there any correction to the public hearing minutes? The public hearing minutes are approved. Are there any corrections to the regular board meeting minutes? The regular board meeting minutes are approved. Any public comment?
Not this one.
Any unfinished business, Mr. Town?
No, sir.
New business?
No.
No committee reports this month? Okay. Mr. Talley, staff reports.
Thank you, Chairman. So I wanted to let the board know that we are just about finished with our review of the 2018 annual report. I know we did a 2018 year in review at our February board meeting, but the annual report will go into more detail, provide some additional charts, identify some additional significant trends, but more importantly, I think we provided some case studies for each section within the agency, I think, that are going to bring some real life perspective to the work that we did in 2018. So we will send that to the board electronically and before the next board meeting, and then if there's anything at all that you guys would like to have some additional, you have any questions about, or you'd like to have to look at in any additional depth, just let me know and we will address that at a future board meeting. I am also very, very pleased and proud to make this following announcement. So, Andrea Cooley, our air monitoring chemist, and Brian Paris, our APCD processing coordinator, will be attending the Air Waste Management Association's Air Quality Measurement Methods Technology Conference. And that'll be April the 2nd through the 4th in North Carolina. Adrian, along with Brian and Billy DeWitt and Tom Lobb in our APC Air Monitoring Group have submitted, and Andrea did the bulk of the writing, but it really was a true team effort. And they have submitted an extended abstract titled Field Evaluation of an Automated Gas Chromatograph System for Monitoring Volatile Organic Compounds in the Ambient Air. This extended abstract will be included in the conference proceedings. In addition, Andrea will be presenting this paper during the Photochemical Assessment Monitoring Stations, or PAMs, which we've spoken about many times at this board meeting. We'll be presenting that at a special session at the conference. We have discussed the PAMs network, and so I think everyone is aware that it will be used to monitor ozone precursors, or VOCs, once it's up and running, and so that's we're working on getting that up and running. It's planned to come up in this summer. But as an early adopter of the GC with our work with aerotoxics, APCD has been put in a unique position with the Auto GC to provide some very critical feedback for performance enhancement improvements to the equipment before the program is implemented nationwide. And this paper is just part of that work that we'll be providing to the rest of the country on what we've done here at APCD, and in particular what Andrea has done with her work with the GC. Now, on two related issues, EPA is currently contemplating, or you may correct me and tell me they already have, delaying the deployment of PAMs for the PAMs program nationwide for a couple of years, I think.
That's what they're proposing.
That's what they're proposing. However, we plan to move forward with our installation, implementation, the fact that we are in non-attainment for ozone, that equipment up and running and providing good data is going to go a long ways in helping us address our non-attainment issue with ozone. So we will move forward with that regardless of the delay that may or may not come from EPA. Secondly, and you are all aware that our GC went back to the vendor for some first round of improvements and enhancements. It came back, we did some work with it. Andrea has looked at the new improvements and looked at some other things that haven't been working well. And they also had some things that they just weren't prepared at their first opportunity to work on it. They didn't have the parts and so forth. And so we always knew that it was going back. So within the next couple of weeks or so, we'll be sending that GC back to the vendor. It'll be there for probably about a month or so. And they'll add the new enhancements to it. And then they'll also take a look at some of the new things that Andrea's pointed out to them as we send that equipment back. So wanted you to be aware that that's going to be offline for around a month or so. So we'll keep you posted on that. On last week, Michelle King and Torin Collins attended the EPA's National Environmental Justice Workshop, and this was in Washington, D.C. Now, this coincided with EPA's announcement this past Friday, launching their environmental justice training for states. And what I wanted to, the training is designed to build capacity in the states to integrate environmental justice into their decision-making process. What I want this board to know is that this is a path that the district has already gone down. It's something that we've been working on along with Metro government, but more specifically here at the district in terms of trying to incorporate environmental justice in the work and the decisions that we make. And then more globally, Metro as a whole has been looking at environmental justice as it applies to just equity in general. In Metro Louisville, we talked about that. Their Lean Into Louisville program and some of the work they're doing there. But through our work, and when I say our work, primarily Michelle King's work with the Office of Resilient Cities, they're working to include some environmental justice language into the plan that they propose for the city. And what I would like to do is at a future board meeting to come back and talk about that environmental justice in more depth. I want to talk to you about what we included, because environmental justice was a core piece of our strategic plan and what we submitted to the mayor for incorporation into the mayor's strategic plan. We also want to have the opportunity to hopefully be able to talk about what the Office of Resilient Cities has done in their plan, and then more globally about the equity concerns that Metro has and the work that they're doing, and give a really comprehensive look at that issue, and then specifically talk about what we at the district are doing and plan to do, and how we will incorporate environmental justice, equity issues into the work that we do going forward. All right, quick few updates. And so the first one is on Acela. If you remember, it's a Metro-wide data information system that we've been talking about for a couple of years. And they haven't given us a date for a while, and I haven't given you one in a while. And if you try to hold me to this, I will deny I ever said it. But they've given us a date again. So it's not an actual date, they've given us a month. They said go live in June. And so all I can say at this point is we'll see. But we are very hopeful that they can stick to this one and we can get that going. But on our other projects, our document management systems and mission inventory, both of those are moving along very nicely. And then likewise with our ozone study. And so at the last board meeting, I think I indicated that one of the things we were kind of waiting on and hoping would occur was that the EPA would make a final determination on a modeling platform that they would go forward with. And they did so, I think, last week. And so that's very good news. We can move forward with the ozone study, and it'll provide additional clarity for the vendor in terms of which modeling system to use. And they'll take the uncertainty of which one they'll take a look at out of that process. So we will finalize that paperwork and be able to move forward on the ozone study again, I think everyone here understands how important that's going to be in our work in terms of reaching attainment for ozone. And then on the EPA projects that we've spoken about many times, the RARE project, the odor app, and then the odor VOC emission tracking project. All of those are moving forward. We have regular meetings with EPA where each of these are discussed, and so we got a little off behind with the shutdown that EPA had to go through, but we're ramping back up. They are ramping back up, and so we'll keep you posted on the advancement of all three of those. Let's see. On the lighter side, I had the privilege in Black History Month of doing some reading at Hart Stern Elementary. And contrary to popular belief, I had a great group of fifth graders. I mean, they were engaged, they were attentive, they asked questions, they weren't unruly. And so I know we hear a lot about our students, but this was a great group of kids. And I read a story about George Washington Carver, and we had a very robust conversation following that about just how happy they were that Dr. Carver invented the peanut, and then they proceeded to painstakingly tell me about all the foods that they love that are peanut-related foods. And so we had a long conversation about that. And believe it or not, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are still at the top of the list. Lastly, we had our second Clearing the Air workshop this past Monday. The topic this past Monday was APCD 101. Again, we had a very nice group of folks there. They were engaged. They asked a lot of questions. They hung around after the meeting. We had discussions with individuals where they asked questions, and so we're just very pleased with how it's going so far. Obviously, we would always like to have more people. The more folks, the better. So please pass that along. The next meeting will be April 15th, and these are held at the main library from 6 to 7:30, and the topic at the next workshop will be air quality and health. And so I think this is a topic that a lot of folks may be interested in. So please, in your circles, pass that date and time around so that we can get a lot of folks there, because I think this will be a good meeting. It is a topic that comes up routinely here regarding air quality and its health impacts. And so I think it will be a great meeting to get as many people as we can too. So unless anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to address. All right, if not,
I just have one question. What is the submittal deadline for the emission inventories that most of the major sources have to submit? Is that coming up soon, or?
April 15th.
April 15th?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That includes all major sources? What about smaller companies?
We do all Title V's and all sources who emit over 100 tons. We have a couple non-major over 100 ton emitters.
Okay.
That we inventory those every year.
Thank you.
all right, well, per the agenda, as part of the director's report, we have a presentation by Bradley Coombs for our lawn care for cleaner air and grow more, mow less programs as we move into spring. Bradley?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bradley Coombs. I'm an environmental coordinator here with the district, and today's the first day of spring, so it is a good time to talk about our lawn care for cleaner air and grow more, mow less programs. If you're not too familiar with the Lawn Care for Cleaner Air program, it has been around since 2003. It is a rebate program that gives out rebates at residential and professional levels on both electric-powered and human-powered lawn equipment. And what I mean by electric and human-powered equipment, electric can be battery-operated or plug-in, and human-operated is actually the old-style kind of reel mowers with the reel blades on there. We give out rebates on those too. Since 2003, the program has issued well over 10,000 rebates and prevented almost 4 million pounds of pollution from being emitted. So just an update on our sort of what the program in 2018, it was actually our strongest year for rebates since 2013. Our advertising with the program the last couple of years has been targeted towards homeowners with large yards and also lawn care professionals. And another note with our advertising, we have started to, in the last couple of years, shift our advertising away from traditional print and more towards digital. And with our really good year last year, we think that that is the way to go. We've also,
an uptick.
I'm sorry?
Do you think that's the uptick?
We think so. It was one of the only things that we changed significantly from the year before, and we saw a huge increase from 2017 to 2018 rebates. We think that not only moving from print to digital, but also strategically placing those ads in the county helped to target markets that we hadn't necessarily had sort of a strong footing before. We also continued our both grassroots strategies, which include attending public events, which just basically going out to the public and setting up a table, talking to lots of folks, handing out promotional materials, but also getting our materials in hardware stores and coffee shops and libraries and lots of different places around town where you can just see our brochures and pick them up. We also saw really big gains in our professional program in 2018 too. You see that here. In 2018, we had a record number of rebates in our professional program, and that's 102. So you can see in the graph, it looks like there used to be a lot of professional rebates, and then there weren't a lot, and then there were again. What that represents is the professional program used to be called the commercial program, and that program gave out rebates back when we were still encouraging folks to switch from dirtier two-stroke gasoline-powered equipment to four-stroke. So when the EPA phased out all two-stroke equipment, we stopped giving out rebates on gasoline equipment altogether. And for the first few years of the rebranded Pro program, solely focusing on professional-powered electric equipment, we really didn't do many rebates. Within the past couple of years, those have picked up. And now the market for that type of equipment, electric-powered equipment used by homeowners with large yards and lawn care professionals, has not only has the market really grown, but the equipment continues to become more affordable, and it also is becoming more powerful. Something we did to increase our rebates was a couple of years ago, we streamlined our pro rebate process. It used to be different and a little bit more complicated than our regular residential process. And we also increased the rebate amounts on the professionals as well. Some partnerships that we were involved in the last year involved with Evolve KY. If you're not familiar with them, they're an advocacy group for electric cars. So we did a giveaway at one of their events. That picture's there on the left. We also partnered with the Green Heart Project last year as well. If you're not familiar with them, that comes out of the Envirome Institute at the University of Louisville. That's a project that is studying the mitigations that planting green material around to see what the impact of what planting green material can do to sort of block roadside emissions. So we gave away mowers, electric mowers, through both of those partnerships. And there are some exciting potential partnerships to come this year. Not quite ready to announce those, but stay tuned. So Grow More, Mow Less is the sister program to Lawn Care for Cleaner Air. And it also seeks to reduce emissions related to lawn care. Although it comes at it from a different angle, it encourages people to switch out their turf grass yards and replace that material with plant material that doesn't need to be mowed as often. So through that program, we offer lots of different resources on our website. Our Facebook page has become a really good place where people come and share ideas about what they're planting in their yard and share pictures, and I'll share lots of events going on around town and interesting content. We've got about 3,000 likes or followers on that page, making it one of the more popular Metro Louisville Facebook pages. We have lots of really popular promotional materials. I do lots of giveaways with our t-shirts, and we give away little wildflower seed packets at events, and we're working on a brochure for the program as well. And we're always looking for interesting partnerships for more Mow Less as well. Here I am at a couple of events. One at the left is at a U of L Sustainability Fair. In the middle is doing a giveaway with a leaf blower at the Louisville Sustainability Council's annual Sustainability Summit. And on the right is just one of our newer promotional items. It's a Grow More Mow Less bumper sticker. So with that, I'll take any questions anybody has. Yes?
The 3.9 million pounds of emissions, how much of that is NOx and how much is VOCs, you know?
I can get that for you. I don't have that right off the top of my head. It's a combination of several pollutants, but I can get that breakdown.
Could that be used in the ozone attainment strategy?
To be used in an ozone attainment strategy as a SIPs mill would have to be enforceable.
Yeah.
So, there are issues around that might be problematic. But Bradley, how is this funded?
Oh, the program is funded. That's one of the cooler things about the program is the program is not funded by general funds. The program is funded by penalty funds. So, say if a company in town who has a permit with the district to emit a certain amount of pollution, if they were to violate that permit, then there's a potential for that company to be fined, or another.
So you get 135,000 for the program from that?
I don't have quite that amount of a budget, but that's where all of the funding for the program comes from, is from penalty funds from companies that have been fined by the district.
Are there any questions from the board?
Outside the rebate program, is there activities coordinated with large land management folks like the city and the big CPS who have large mowing fleets? I realize you're not going to rebate to those folks.
We have partnered on different, I've been a part of different interagency work groups with groups from like U of L, who has their entire riding mower fleet switched over to propane at this time. So that was a big step in the right direction. Riding electric mowers are available, but they are sort of at the fringe of the market right now. They're still incredibly expensive, and propane burns a lot cleaner than regular gas.
So it's geared to small engines. I mean, the efficiency of the electric technology today is small.
Yeah, and we're always looking for partnerships for.
The green team and the Mow team? And Tom may be able to provide a little bit more detail on Metro's Mow team.
That's another one.
The little, a couple years ago, it was pointed out to us by the media. A couple years ago, it was pointed out to us by the helpful media that our policy on telling people not to cut their grass on high ozone days with gas mowers was not being followed by the city itself, because the city, it's just an impossible thing to keep up with, vacant lots and parks, and just, the city has a lot of grass under its feet, as it were. So cut your grass, Mr. Homeowner, Ms. Homeowner, while the city's mowing giant pieces of land with very, very polluting gas-powered mowers. So, we developed a policy that said if there's an air quality alert, the city to agree to not cut. Now, that was kind of a short-term solution. In other words, there's only 10 to 20 air quality alert days a year, but that adds up when you're, oftentimes they come after, you'll have a lot of rain, the grass grows, the air stagnates because of weather cycles, so you end up just getting farther and farther behind. Even 10 to 20 days to do that again. So, but they agreed to do that, and we told them we would look into, as a district, we would look into the idea of propane mowers. Propane mowers have kind of come a long way in the last decade or so. I mean, I think propane's always been a fuel source for combustion engines, but now, you know, you can get these things that look just like a regular big deck, you know, cutting, you know, mower, but you have 2 cans of propane attached to each side. They don't look any different than a regular mower. So the city saw the potential there. We worked with fleets, we worked with parks, we kind of had a little team going where we discussed the different, I sent them some information, and now they announced last year that they bought 11 propane-powered mowers. These are the big ones. And the plan is to keep buying them as old mowers, you know, go out of service. So it's a good trend we're on. You know, the mayor got behind it. There's a press conference and everything. So that's a positive thing. That's an outgrowth of what we're doing here. Which is just, you know, you got to cut grass, but you know, there are ways you can do it that are just much, much more efficient and cleaner than, you know, your traditional gas-powered mower.
I guess originally when the program started that it was trade-in gas for rebate on this. Can you trade in an older broken electric now for this, or is it still gas for gas? It's just promoting the purchase of electric?
Yeah, you can still trade in either old gas or old electric equipment. We want to incentivize the, you know, the keeping up of using the electric equipment. So we allow for recycling old electric too.
And still qualify for the rebate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. The rebates work on 2 different levels. You can always get a rebate on a new piece of electric equipment. You'll get a bigger rebate if you recycle an older piece of gas-powered or electric-powered equipment.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just curious, on the rebates for the professional mowers, these are plug-ins, I assume?
Well, the professional equipment includes batteries, trimmers, and blowers. We don't really have.
Not the mowers.
I'm sorry?
Not the mowers?
No, we don't have a professional mower rebate. Mainly because when you get into equipment like that, you're talking very expensive, and the rebates that we would be able to provide for, like, say, a riding mower or something like that would not really be, I don't think, the type of rebate that would very easily incentivize the purchase of an extremely expensive piece of equipment. So we give out pretty good rebates on pro-powered batteries, pro-powered string trimmers, leaf blowers. We have a partnership with a company called Steel, where they provided us with some money to help us to match rebate dollars several years ago, and that program still goes on. So you can get upwards to a couple of $100 off of some of their nicer pro-powered equipment.
Thank you. I just have one question. Do we do anything around Earth Day that's coming up in April around this? Or is that something different? Earth Day.
Well, I'll be attending some Earth Day events,
Okay.
going out to a few different places and talking about the programs. I don't host our own Earth Day event, but I'll be going to the Louisville Zoo. They have their Earth Day is always a really big deal, and I'll be giving presentations to lots of different classes at the J. Graham Brown School for their Earth Day celebration as well.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
I don't have plug-in riding mowers.
Plug-in riding mowers, not that I know
I don't
of.
know how you would do.
Yeah.
That's what Dr. Clover called it. That's what you were alluding to, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I thought he was talking about, rebates for mowing. So professional, I just couldn't imagine them.
No,
They're
they're
having a long cord.
No, you can still get the plug-in sort of pushing mowers. I've
Yeah.
never seen a plug-in riding mower. I think that would be fairly impractical.
Yeah.
Most of the mowers are battery powered, so, and when you get up to those larger riding mowers, those are just very large batteries, like an electric vehicle.
Yeah, but the professionals, the battery wouldn't last all day.
Well, that's why they're very expensive, because they're very large batteries, and, you know, just like a car takes a very large battery.
Well, thank you for your presentation, and we'll probably look forward to probably an update maybe near the end of the year. Okay. Thank you very much. Our quality data, the board members received most of the data on our quality data. Any questions or comments regarding the submitted reports?
Chairman Hill?
Yes.
I will point out that ozone season started March 1st, and so the next board report will include a report on ozone for Metro Louisville.
Okay. So it starts in March. Do we have an end date on it?
October.
October. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Any other questions? Any questions regarding the access emission report? What about the enforcement status report? Very short report this month.
Speak on behalf of Steve's staff, we're working on a lot of things.
Looks good, thank you. Mr. Taylor, is there any other business to be brought before the board?
And so I will point this out, and we'll hopefully be able to follow up the next board meeting, but we've been contacted by several of the area high schools to work with them. It's a program, I think it's called Aspen, and they have the opportunity to pick several different areas to work on, and so several schools have the environment and air quality specifically, and so we've indicated to them that we'd be happy to work with them, and so don't have a lot of details on what that will mean, but we'll show up at their events and handle that however works for them. So still want to make the board aware that we will be participating in that program.
It was called Aspen?
Aspen, yes.
Aspen Challenge.
Aspen Challenge.
Have you received any feedback from, was it Doss School that submitted a letter to the district?
We have not, but that, before we knew that this was a widespread kind of Aspen challenge, that, they're part of that.
Okay.
So we received 4 or 5 more.
That's great. Any other thing, Mr.
No,
Chapman?
I think that's about covered.
We have completed the all the agenda items on our program for today. I move that this meeting is adjourned until April 17th. Thank you for your attendance. Look forward to seeing you on April 17th.